Tip number 7 from the book 501 Contractor Tips by Greg Vandenberg, yours truly. Tip number 7 is plan on making sacrifices. Plan on working long hours, missing baseball, soccer games, estimating on the weekends and in the evenings and early mornings, phone calls in the middle of the night, and being physically and mentally exhausted at the end of the day. In the beginning, it's going to take a little more work than you imagined. Now, I'd like to say something here, this is kind of like tip number 3, where it says working while others aren't. But what I really wanted to say with this making sacrifices is I think a lot of people go into business to make more money and have a better life, create a better life for their family. This is why realistically most people want to make more money so that they can do more things. Do not fall into this trap and think that you're not going to have to work longer hours, like I mentioned in tip number 3. That you will not need to make sacrifices, because you will. You will need to make a choice whether or not you want to have a successful construction business or you want to do something else. And if you are trying to raise your kids, you're trying to go to their soccer game, you're trying to do, you've got them involved in every dang sport you can imagine, this is going to impact and affect your construction business. Don't think that it won't. If you need to go to a meeting, if you're involved in Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, I was in all that stuff. I was involved in Cub Scouts, and I did this, I think, for 7 or 8 years. And I would be working on the job site, doing something, think, I got to be home, the meeting's at 7 o'clock. I would have to go home and put all this stuff together. And let's just say it took me an hour to put the stuff together, what we were going to do for that particular evening, which this actually, just our meetings were every 2 weeks. And again, this is just Cub Scouts. I'm not talking about baseball, basketball, soccer, any of that. One meeting every other week, plus we had a meeting every month, and then we did things every once in a while on the weekends, and then we had camping trips. If you're going on these camping trips and there's 3 or 4 a year for the weekend, these are going to be weekends you will not be able to work. So if you are used to working on the weekends, or maybe you have a business where you're working for another company, if you haven't started your business yet, you're working 5 days a week for another contractor, and then you're working on the weekends to start your own business. Something like this, or even if you're working after hours during the week. Let's say you get off at your job at 4 o'clock, but you're going over and you're working from 4:30 to 8 o'clock at night on another job, doing that 2 or 3 times a week, and the weekends, because you really want to get your business started. Then you will need to make a choice. And again, I just used this one thing as an example. It is not hard. You can look at your life and see what you do not want to sacrifice. And you will need to work that into your business plan. You'll need to figure this out. You know what? I'm going golfing every Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning, no matter what. And then you're going to find out that there will be times where you won't be going golfing. There will be times where you will not make that Cub Scout meeting. This is just the way it is, because you've got to choose. And I'm not saying you can't do it all, but there will be times when it's going to be difficult, and then you will need to make a choice.